on some of this stuff. So we're going to talk about what photo apps can do. Beyond just making basic improvements and enhancements. And if you take a lot of pictures on your smartphone, there are probably some built-in editing apps in the smartphone that will do some of this already, but you can get these other photo apps that will do even more. You can do things like remove unwanted objects. You can remove backgrounds and isolate somebody or something. You can create collages. You can add all kinds of special effects. You could, for example, turn a picture into something that looks like a painting or pop art, which can be really fun. You can correct blemishes on people's faces and all kinds of things. So, you know, if once we get into it and I'm doing some of these demos, let me know if there's something in particular you would like to do with a photo, because chances are there's an app for that. And chances are I will know about it because I am an app addict. I've downloaded a ton of these and tried them out over the years. So I have a pretty decent amount of familiarity with what they can do. So I just want to kind of give you a flavor for what can happen when you use some of these. Here's just one picture, and here's a treatment I can give it. It's just kind of interesting. None of this is vital to any photo, but it just can kind of allow you to have some fun with something. Here's one. This is a family friend who I took his senior picture last year, and I decided to just give it a little treatment like this. Just kind of isolate him. And here is one that was actually taken by one of our Get Set Up members, Mary Ellen. And she took this class a while back and decided to apply what she learned. So she just put this milkweed onto a black table and took sort of a still life picture of it, and then did this. She went to a photo app and gave it this little treatment with a kind of grungy framing around it, and it darkened the background in a really nice way, so the milkweed really sort of brightened up and came out really nicely, a little more colorful and everything. She proceeded to, after she did this, get it enlarged in print form and framed it, and sent me a picture of it framed on her wall. So it's, you know, this is something, if you've got a little bit of artistic drive in you, you could really go to town with some of this. Before I talk about some of the mobile photo apps in particular, I really want to give you a big heads up, because this can get really confusing. And a lot of times when I've talked about a specific app in a class, people have started to try to download it, and they right away get an ad that makes it look like I'm lying to you and telling you something is free when it's not. And that's not the case. A lot of times when you download these apps and you open them up, the first thing that will pop up is an ad that says, why don't you try the premium version, or start your free trial now for the premium version. Today in the web world, or in the app world, pretty much in the digital e-commerce world, whatever you want to call it, this is the model. They give you 80% for free, and then they make their money by trying to upsell you to the 20% that is more of a pro account, which, if you want to do that, you can. The price points are all over the map on this, but it's not necessary. I do not do that with any of these. I just go for the straightforward free versions of those. But it sometimes looks like the only way you're going to be able to use the app is if you start a free trial or upgrade to a pro version. So just really look at that and make sure you're not being cajoled into buying something, or just deciding, well, I don't want to pay for this, so I'm not going to use it, because you still can. just look for an X in a corner. Usually it's the upper corner someplace of your screen, and just click on that, and that will take that ad away, and then you're in the app. Another thing, if you are an Apple user, like for an iPhone or iPad, something that gets a little confusing is no matter what you download from the App Store, whether it's free or not, it's going to say in-app purchase. But that is sort of their catch-all term for any kind of app that you download. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's a cost related to it. So don't be afraid if you see that. You won't get charged until you actually subscribe to something most of the time. So, okay. So there are a couple of desktop apps that are a little, have a little bit of a learning curve, but are free. And I think really the learning curves on these are less than a lot of others. These are in no way like Photoshop. There's another one out there called GIMP, which I did not put on here because I tried to use it once and it completely overwhelmed me. And I've used Photoshop for years, and I've found that GIMP is just way too complicated. I think it's not worth anybody's time when there are some other options out there. But this first one, Photoscape X, I'll provide you a link to all these desktop apps that I'm talking about. So in the class notes that I send, so if you want to try them out, you can do that. But Photoscape X is free, and it's you can download it straight to your computer, and you've got the app right there on your computer. It's a nice alternative to some really comprehensive photo editing tools like Photoshop, and it's free, completely free. And there's another one that, because I'm a Mac user, I have not been able to check out. It's called PhotoPass Pro. It's for Windows only. But if you are a Windows user, you might want to check that out too. I've heard some good things about it. So, but you do not need to download any kind of apps to your or software to your computer. You can do it all on the web if you want. Okay. So that is nice, because all you need to do, and here are a few of them, where you just upload the photo to the website itself. Usually what you do is you start an account, and it's free to do that with these. And then you upload the photo and you can go to town doing some work on it. So one of the big ones out there is called Pixlr. And they have two versions, Pixlr X and Pixlr E. Pixlr X is probably the one that is going to be the easiest to use. Pixlr E has a few more bells and whistles to it, but you can experiment on either one. Again, it's all free. iPicky is a fun one. I do a class on touch-ups, specifically on touch-ups for portraits and selfies. And I found iPicky is really nice for that. It's very easy to make some changes on that. And then another one is called Photopea, and that gets a lot of good reviews as well. And then whenever I do this class, I inevitably get somebody interested in removing a background and just isolating a subject, whether that's a person or an object or an animal. Photo Scissors very seamlessly removes a background and just makes a transparent background so that you can take that object and you could move it over onto another background or something like that if you wanted, or just have it